Football has a funny way of bringing people back together, a manager who once believed in you, a club with a vision that fits your game perfectly, and a moment where every dot on the map connects. That is exactly where Valentin Barco finds himself right now. By the time this video is done, you're going to understand exactly why this move makes complete sense, why Chelsea would be foolish to let it slip through their fingers, and why the people still doubting Barco are about to look very wrong very soon. Let us go all the way back to where it started. Barco was born on July 23, 2004 in 25 de Mayo, Buenos Aires, and by 2021, Boca Juniors had already spotted something extraordinary in him, handing him his professional debut at just 16 years old. He was included in the Guardian's Next Generation list for 2021, a rare distinction that singled him out as one of the most exciting young talents on earth. What made Barco stand out so early was not just skill, it was his brain. From a deep starting position, Barco consistently dropped to receive the ball and initiate attacks, producing 7.05 progressive passes per 90 minutes and 2.96 progressive runs per 90, moving Boca up the pitch rapidly and enabling quick transitions. Those are not numbers you associate with a teenager. Those are numbers you see on scouting reports for established top-level midfielders. And then there was the dribbling. Registering 7.17 dribbles per 90 minutes placed Barco among the highest performers in Argentina's top flight, providing Boca with individual sparks capable of creating danger from nothing. He was not just a talent, he was a weapon. His Copa Libertadores campaign with Boca in 2023 was the moment the whole continent truly woke up. He helped Boca reach the Copa Libertadores final against Fluminense, starting the match at just 19 years old. And in the semi-final against Palmeiras, during a tense Copa Libertadores penalty shootout in Brazil, Barco stepped up as the fifth man for Boca and scored the decisive penalty to send them through. In a pressure situation that breaks grown men, a 19-year-old stepped up and delivered. That tells you everything about his mentality. But here is where the story takes a twist. Brighton came calling in January 2024. Barco transferred to Brighton for a fee reported to be around $10 million, signing a 4.5-year deal. On paper, it seemed like the perfect move. The Premier League, a well-run club, a clear pathway. In reality, it fell apart almost immediately. He barely played, went on loan to Sevilla, picked up a groin injury and hardly featured there either. The whole situation looked like a career heading in the wrong direction, a promising talent getting lost in the system. You know what happens to players like that? Most of them never recover. But Barco was different. In February 2025, he joined Strasbourg on loan, and that is when Liam Rosenior changed everything. Barco left Brighton as a struggling left-back, and it was Rosenior who converted him into a midfielder at Strasbourg. That positional shift was not just a tactical tweak, it was a complete rebirth. Rosenior looked at this player, saw what he actually was, and gave him the platform to express it. The results were immediate. Now here is where the stats get seriously impressive, because the numbers Barco has posted this season are not what you expect from a 21-year-old in his first full season as a midfielder. Barco has completed 1,261 successful passes this season, placing him 13th in that category across the entire division. He ranks 7th in the entire League One for activity and influence, a metric that measures touches, passes, and overall impact on controlling the tempo of a match. 7th in the whole league in his first full season as a midfielder at 21. Only 2 players in the entire League One this season have created more big chances than Barco, who has 13 to his name, and he has been described as brilliant and box office. His average FOTMOB rating across the League One season sits at 7.22, placing him among the top performers at his position in the league. Across all competitions, he has scored 2 goals and registered 9 assists in 38 appearances. For a player who barely played competitive football 2 seasons ago, these are remarkable numbers. And it is not just his positional flexibility that stands out. Barco's switches of play are generally excellent, and crucially, he gets them off quickly, which is particularly valuable in modern football, where transitions happen at pace and wide players are increasingly isolated. His set-piece delivery has also been described as brilliant, adding another dimension to what he brings to a team. The complete picture of this player is someone who can contribute in multiple phases of the game, not just one. Former Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi also saw exactly what Barco was capable of. After throwing him into a match against Manchester City, De Zerbi praised Barco directly, saying, "Barco showed a lot of personality. I was delighted with his performance. He will be an important player." When a manager of De Zerbi's quality says something like that, you listen. Barco's rapid rise has also resulted in him becoming part of the Argentina national team setup, with the youngster netting his first senior international goal in the 5-0 win over Zambia during the March international break. That is a player whose profile is rising fast. There is even a real possibility Barco could be part of Lionel Scaloni's World Cup squad this summer before he officially arrives at Cobham. The Rosegno factor cannot be overstated enough. The pair worked together when Rosegno was manager at Strasbourg, and Rosegno personally played a key role in convincing Barco to make the move to West London. Chelsea even promised Barco that he will be a cornerstone of their project going forward. Not a squad player, not a rotation option. A cornerstone. The kind of assurance a 21-year-old needs to commit his best years to a club, and Chelsea's interest did not even start with Rosegno's arrival. When Barco was coming through in Argentina with Boca Juniors, Chelsea were already serious admirers and at one point seemed destined to land his signature before he opted to join Brighton instead. This is a club that has tracked this player for years. Reports have also confirmed interest from Bayern Munich, which comes as no surprise given the level Barco has been operating at this season. Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs in world football, is watching this player. That alone should tell you everything you need to know about where Barco's ceiling is heading. The deal itself is structured beautifully for Chelsea. Barco initially joined Strasbourg on loan before making the move permanent for just £7.87 million last summer, and the shared ownership between Chelsea and Strasbourg means club-to-club negotiations will not be a complicated or expensive battle. Reports indicate Barco will put pen to paper on a 5-year contract, keeping him at Stamford Bridge until 2031. A 5-year deal for a 21-year-old with this trajectory. Chelsea are betting on a future, and based on everything we have seen, it is a bet that makes complete sense. Some will point to the Brighton struggles as a reason for caution, but that argument simply does not hold up. Barco arrived at Brighton without a defined role, without a manager who understood how to use him, and without the platform to express his natural game. The situation at Chelsea is fundamentally different. Rosegno already unlocked him once in France. He knows exactly what this player needs. And Barco has now proven he can sustain top-level performances over a full season. These are not the same circumstances. Barco's progressive pass count has more than doubled year on year, and his overall involvement ranking of 7th in League One for activity and influence confirms this is not a hot streak. This is a player who has genuinely evolved into something special, and he's still 21. The best years are ahead of him. Chelsea are a club in transition. The Enzo Fernandez situation is a mess. The Champions League campaign was an embarrassment. Fans want to see a clearer identity and a project worth believing in. Barco is exactly the kind of signing that starts building that identity. Young, dynamic, technically elite, positionally flexible, and already vouched for by the man in the dugout. Which player do you think Barco is going to replace in Chelsea's midfield next season? Drop your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this one, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future videos like this. Catch you in the next one. Bye.